We're live. Are we live? I think we're live. Hey guys, this is Shirley. We're at Shirley's World, where we always want to keep it raw and real and 100. I just want to make sure I'm okay here. I don't know if I'm live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll make sure you're on.
Okay. I'm also live on YouTube, but I decided to go ahead and set up a Facebook account just in case you guys don't get to see me. So I have to look into like two cameras because Doug is setting me up. He's not going to be on the show. It's just going to be me talking about current affairs and current events. And
I'm on the wrong one. I need to go to.
Hold on, we just got to make sure that we get the YouTube one up. There we
There's your
are.
chat room. So you have two chat rooms.
Can you guys see me? Because if you can see me, if you can just push the number 1.
So this is your chat room for the YouTube, and this is your chat room for Facebook. You have
Okay.
no comments on Facebook.
Because if you can see me, if you
I have
can
to turn up the sound.
number 1. Yay! Freedom! Freedom Works says, yes, darling, we can see you. I got my Trump hat on. Bit pimping. Let's see, put the camera up a little bit more. Hey.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Dougie. Dougie had to help set me up because we had some technical difficulties going on. All right, so I'm going to be talking to everyone. This is Shirley Husar, and we are live on Facebook. We are live also on YouTube. For those who don't know me and follow me, I am on Shirley's World. Shirley World, when we talk about the world that I live in, and it comes from my perspective. This is the first time I decided to do a live show. I've done live shows on Black Hollywood Live and different live aspect shows and CNN. But I decided to do a couple of live shows on my YouTube channel. Zero else does it. I can do it too. So let me get some shout outs out there. Angel is watching me. Freedom Works is watching me. Thank you both so much. Dean is watching me. Hopefully some of my Facebook people will come in and they will be watching me too. If not, I appreciate what love I do have here watching me live. I apologize. I said 10 minutes. It was like 30. Jesus, take the wheel. Like, that's the difference between 10 and 30, right? It's called technology. That's correct. So I'm here basically to talk about a couple of things. One is the Justice Department, California, illegal immigration, black people being pushed out of California, and what's going on in America. And this administration, how will it really affect us, and what should we really be focusing on? Should we be thinking about Russia? Or should we be watching our pocketbooks? Things that make us go, Hey, I got a thumbs up. That means there's somebody on Facebook watching. If you're my Facebook follower, if you could kind of share my Facebook picture or information, I think maybe I can do that at the same time where I can share. I'm live on this channel. I don't know if I can or not. But anyway, the reason why I decided to go live, because many of you guys have asked me to do this, and so I'm doing it. And especially for my YouTube channel, the Conscious Black community is very heavy on YouTube, and I'm trying to capture more of you guys. I want you to know what it's like to be a black conservative. So who is Shirley Husar? Let me start off with explaining who I am. My name is Shirley Husar, and I started doing YouTube way back in 2009, so that was a long time ago, and then I stopped because I'm a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor. I've been a licensed realtor since 1997, so I've been around for a long time in selling real estate. I graduated from USC Financial Real Estate Development, and I also study technology. I'm the CEO of Story.com. Yes, we are going to finish the app for people who constantly ask me, and no, the Story.com is not for sale. Then the chain of events of Trump occurred, and my world got turned around and flipped over, and now we're trying to solidify this platform, and then I'll be going back to my passion in my heart, which is completing that project of the technology and Story.com. Urban Game Changer is our baby. Now, what is Urban Game Changers? Urban Game Changers is an organization where we hold elected officials accountable as well as ourselves. We are in California, Texas, Louisiana. We are also in Florida. We are in Alabama. How you doing, Alabama? We're in Nevada, and we are also in New York. And if you are in the state and you have concerns and you want to know how to structure a team that is interactive in your state, we have a team here that would love to work with you. We operate on donations. Everything that you see and feel and taste regarding me, I pay for. We don't get large donations like some of the other conservative PACs that are out there, or conservative blacks that are out there. I am a little different because I keep it raw, I keep it real. I'm 100% Trumpican. The reason why is because I supported Mr. Trump. If you go to California Support Donald Trump, I started that page back in way, I think in 2010 or 09, or way, it's really an old page. And so I have always loved Mr. Trump. So when he put his hat in the ring, a sincere foot in that water in 2015-16, I was on board. I later was chosen to be the surrogate for Mr. Trump last year for the state of California. Many of you may have seen me out there making the final announcement. That video is on this channel as well, where you see me announcing, voila, Donald Trump is president. So as a surrogate for California, I've always been involved. I've been a Republican since I was able to vote. I believe that we need limited government and less government imposed programs upon the community, especially the African American community. I am pro-black. Some black people ain't pro-black. I don't spend time talking about coons and white supremacist groups, and if you want that channel, you ain't gonna get it from me. I am a pro-black sister, but I'm not as pro-black as maybe Dr. Umar, if you like his channel. Dr. Umar has a lot of coffee, pure coffee, no sugar, no cream. I have some pure coffee in me, but I do have to dilute it with sugar and cream because that's kind of like how I like to drink it anyway, right? What else can I tell you about you? I have 3 boys. And I've grown sons. I don't have little bitty kids. I think they try to be my mom or my parents sometimes, but it's all good. I love my sons. Shout out to Jonathan, Douglas, and Kenneth. They are amazing grown men that are in their own right, have their own things going, and I'm very grateful to God for them. And I'm moving forward. I'm excited about talking to you about the front line. I am a frontliner for Trump. Since the Trump administration and since Mr. Trump has been elected, what has happened is a whole spin on politics for those who have been in it longer. We were addicts prior to Trump. So now that it is a forefront and it's always in your face, many of you guys are trying to figure out, how do I dissect this? How do I live with this? That's where I come in. I come in to try to help you have another ideology viewpoint on the matter of what does it mean to make America great again? And will that affect me? Will I get one of those $700,000 million jobs that he's saying that he's going to do out there? Will I be able to capture one? And I'm going to be talking about that throughout the duration of some of my live shows and my non-live shows. But just to answer right now, it really depends on where you live. California is a frontline state, which means that Jeff Sessions and the Justice Department made it very clear that California has to identify this is a new nation, this is a Trump nation. And that is what Jeff Sessions said. Our Attorney General, or General Attorney, got that one right, stated that Trump will be making stance in the state. Now, many of you may say, I'm going to resist, I want to resist. You don't understand U.S. history. You need to look at the Indians and the Ajaxes and what they did to the black people. Americans, when they tell you they gonna take control and take out on issues that they don't like, they get it taken care of. So California is priority. We are ground zero in California, and the reason why is because we are on the front line. Let me get some shout outs real quick. Freedom Works is still with me. Thank you, Jesus. Angel, Dean, I love you guys. Okay, DM0097, Mega. I love Trump too. I'm so excited. And on Facebook we have Cindy Edwards and Christina. Christine Link, Elizabeth Link. Honey, your posting have me on the floor. When you see me do those memes and I'm like this laughing, girl, you cut to the chase. You don't waste no time. You got that click click. That's a sister you don't mess with. So if you're on Facebook and you see this beautiful blonde with her hair swooped to the side, that's a conservative. She packing. I know she packing. Just to let you know that girl's packing. Anyway, I want to talk about what is going on in the country, and I want to answer some of your questions. So as I tell my rant. I want you guys to tell me how you're feeling out there. Freedom Works is saying, make America great again. Dean says she's never did a stream before. I have done streams before, but this is a live stream on 2 platforms. And also, I always live stream on my phone. So yes, I have live streamed before, but this one I haven't done where I'm interacting. Maybe later on I'll do one where you can call in. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and answer anything you guys might want to post on in the chat room. Rob Taylor, Monroe, Ohio. All right, Ohio, Florida, Texas, California, Mobile, Alabama, New York. Thank y'all so much for supporting and watching me and sharing my information with people because it's so important. Let me tell you about Urban Game Changers. Urban Game Changers are growing. And why we need urban game changers, because we realize that there is money being blocked getting into the urban communities. It's blocked getting into the urban communities. Now, why is it blocked? Because we have situations like the Congressional Black Caucus. We have situations where we have liberal groups. We have situations where people continue to vote for the same candidates and don't open the doors and allow other candidates that make more sense to penetrate to their needs. If you are in the urban communities or any community and you're not conscious of the fact that you're upset against Trump, Trump ain't your issue. Your issue is your local official who is taking advantage of your money and your time. Anybody got a comment on that one? Thank you, James says, Shirley, you rock on Facebook. I really appreciate that. You know, NC, North Carolina in the house. I like North Carolina. North Carolina got some good barbecue. Barbecue! Good. You know, I like me some good barbecue. That's some good stuff going on. Congratulations. Michael Collins. I love Michael Collins. He always encourages me. He always says great things on my Facebook. And he's got good kahunas. I love that man. Thank you, Michael, so much. Elizabeth Luker. Yes, well said. On the 30, she says 43rd needs to vote Maxine out of Maxine Waters. I'll say the woman's name right. Maxine Waters out of office and vote for Umar. Let me tell you about Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters has not drank her own water. She must be drinking herself now, because she ain't drinking the right water. That should be the answer. Maxine Waters should have been out of office, but the problem with Maxine Waters is her district consists of a large Latino illegal immigration quadrant of California, and nobody's talking about that. Also, Maxine Waters has helped push black people out of California. We are down to what? 6%. 6% black people are in California, and Maxine Waters contribute to that. And I've had people say, but you don't know what Maxine Waters has done in the past and how she fought for us. Every so many years, what is every 4 years, 2 years, whatever the congressional leaders have to be voted in. Every time you re-vote them in, you vote them on the premise of what they did previously. So do not tell me about how many years past what she did. What she's done now is rant about how she's not working with this administration. And she's going to do what? Make sure she blocks money from getting to the people, that the people impeach the president and get nothing. We get nothing. That's what we get. We catch the air with Maxine Waters. So, yes, many of you nationally don't like her, but it's the people locally who support and believe in her. And not only are they believing in her, they're also not voting in anyone that's going to add value. Now, what is the voting problem in California? I'm going to answer that question. Someone said term limits. Michael said impeach 43rd district. This is the problem. California is an open primary. When California, I think it was 2010, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll put the dates up later, but when we went open primary, it took us from having 2 standard seats, a Republican or conservative side and a liberal and a Democrat side. But when it became open primary, then we had every other kind of side that could be on the front row. When every other kind of side can be on the front row, that's called open primary. Open primary means that there's no standard of 1 and 2. It's a standard of whoever gets the top first in the primary gets to go to the general. The problem about the general is that the general now is the primary. You know what I mean? Because we don't have an A and a B spot. We have an A for all for all. This is the problem. This is the problem, people. Open primaries have become dangerous in California. We do not have a spot for a Republican or a conservative. And what we do is we have we have liberals who have more money than the Republicans and the conservatives. Elizabeth Luke says Korea. I don't know why she said Korea. Term limits. This is true. On Facebook, many of you guys are just saying thank you so much for being on. I enjoy Shirley so much. Okay, so open primary has caused a case where it's a free-for-all. And now we don't have a conservative or A or B side, Republican, Democrat. We have a primary where it's free-for-all, and now we have 10 Democrats, 10 Republicans, or maybe 3 Republicans and 10 Democrats, or sometimes we get maybe 4 or 5 candidates. And it comes down when it's in the general. Now we have, instead of an A and a B, we have an A and an A. We just have Democrats, a D and a D. Instead of a D and an R, we can just have a Democrats, just Democrats. Now, what does that mean? What has happened on that is, now that you have just Democrats, it gets even deeper. African American people were double affected by it. Not only do we have a conservative Christian family-based party exiled, which is the Republicans out of California, what we have now is the Democrat liberal free-for-all, what do we always say, lawlessness state going on. We're a lawlessness state. We're a state that allows the law to do whatever it wants. It's a free-for-all. The LGBTQFFYGWPX135 people. And, if you say something, you're offensive. I don't understand all those terminologies, so I'm just telling you how everybody's always extra special, touchy, feely, metrosexual, metrogender. I don't care who you screw, who you fuck, who you, excuse me for the bad word, for whoever you do. That is your lifestyle. That's not mine. And I don't think that should be priority in California. But Hollywood has been so impressionable upon all of our lives that we are now putting on the glasses. Where are my glasses, by the way? Oh. Put the glasses on. Hollywood has stopped us from putting the glasses on. You see this right here? This is my They Live glasses. See this right here? They Live. Now, They Live was a sci-fi movie back in 1988. I didn't know if I had the dates right. That was 28 years ago. And that sci-fi basically had people didn't realize that there's an invasion. They Live is in Californian Americans, and They Live are the illegal immigrants, primarily illegal immigrants from El Salvadorans, Guadalajarans, Mexico, China. There's a lot of different other cultures that come in via way Mexico into the United States, and then they filter throughout the United States. This is a problem because the illegal immigrants' children are now adults. And they are running for office. And they are winning seats like De Leon. De Leon is pushing a bill that would go and oppose not only the Trump administration, but the infrastructure of America and the infrastructure of our inner cities' safety. De Leon is allowing the can of roaches, worms, and maggots to grow in California. It's unsafe, it's unsanitized by allowing live vendors to do, illegal immigrants to have vending rights, to be able to sell food while washing their hands, no sanitation. I talk about that on Community Digital News, my article. Please read my articles where I talk about California looming. Make sure that you watch my videos on Shirley Husar, my fan page, where I post a picture and a video of downtown Los Angeles, where Americans are being pushed out and homeless illegal immigrants are being given rights and pushed in and paid by the federal government. Now let's go back to the R and the D situation, because now that the D's are in control in California, the D's have suppressed black leadership by allowing the illegal children to now be able to run for office like De Leon. He's proud that his parents are illegal, who came here not right, didn't pay nothing, got off on coming in, put his finger in your face, said, screw you, I'm in control now. Bow down. Bow down, as Queen Bee saying. That is what he is saying to the American people in California. Black, white, Chinese, Latino, whatever you are, Latino Americans. There are Mexican Americans who are on my side. I grew up with Latinos. But to grow up with illegal immigrants, that's a whole different species of people. Those people don't have the infrastructure that we do. We believe in unity. We believe in assimilating. They do not assimilate. They colonate. They come here, they colonize, and they point in your face. You a Negro, nigga. We gonna take your town. We gonna take you out. Woo, 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 all in your face. We MS-13. Fuck. Da 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 da. I'm trying not to say that word. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, and all in Jeff Sessions' cookie jar talking about you ain't gonna touch them. And they're stabbing and they're using machetes. Look up East LA on Google and look at them talking about people getting stabbed and machete. Now, going back to D and R, because it's D and D, the Latinos now are suppressing, listen to me, pushing black people out of the picture. And black people aren't getting elected in California. The millennials, y'all ain't got no shot. Thank God AJ got Carson, the mayor. She got lucky. She got reelected. She was in the runoff. But I'm telling you, those old millennials like Maxine Waters, Karen Bass, Ridley Thomas, Camilla wannabe Black Harris, Camera, whatever her name is. That's why she took that name on note. She ain't got nothing African American within her. And she act like she all sexy. I'm all that. Okay. All them people, they ain't trying to help black millennial Democrats. They're helping illegal immigrant children, the anchor babies, the ones that have come here and done horrible things to the black community, suppress the black community. Nothing to do with Trump. Trump's been in office about 5 months, and all they keep talking about is Trump, 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 Trump. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to Russian. Do your homework and look up these people and ask yourself, what have you done for me lately? Honey, they need to put that Janet Jackson album on. Hey, Shirley, activist granny, has out there now. Is it Alicia? Lassa? Brown supremacist is a thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't focus on that. I think there's so many things that are out there. It is horrible. Who's brown? Is it the Latinos or is it the black people? What? I'm not really sure where you're going with that one. Russia is not in Compton. La la. You're right. They don't care about Compton. The news and the liberals will just have you on that Russian trip for a while. But you need to be conscious of the fact that the Trump administration is trying to make America great again, because they are. They have put energy in finding out about human trafficking. Mr. Trump recently had 2 young girls who were part of the human trafficking who were out there. He had them in the White House. He took pictures. He talked to them. He gave them time one-on-one. And Ivanka, his daughter, have worked on human trafficking. I want us to petition and talk about human trafficking in the prison system, where the prison systems in America, if many of you do not know, are privatized. Because they are privatized, private shareholders on the stock exchange expect to get a return on their money. So these privatized prisons have to have so many people incarcerated in there so that they can meet their quota. That is human trafficking in America. And no one wants to talk about that because it covers so many issues. One, the shareholders get paid. They get cheap labor because those men incarcerated have to work, and they get pennies for $1, and they make stuff that we live off of. If it's products, license plates, or whatever the hell they do, we get off of it. But free man labor, so someone is getting paid. Is it me and you? Most likely not. Where we're devastated by is majority of those men are African American, pulled out of their families, can't live with their baby mama, can't even see their families, or they're just given conjugal time so they can do their little thing to get distressed and drain themselves, if you know what I mean. These are things that are dealing with as far as human trafficking in America. The police are allowing us to be beaten, taken down, and added to a number regiment that is required in the prison system that are privatized. That's human trafficking, Ivanka Trump. Why aren't we talking about that, black conscious people? Instead, y'all too busy talking about each other and not providing any solutions. Well, you don't have any legislation to provide solutions, but you do have a lot of issues. A lot of issues. We can talk about issues because that's what we do. But in duration of talking about them, you should at least give some type of hope. We are not hopeless people, brown, black people, conservative people. We are in a nation, a new nation. This is a Trump nation. It is a nation that decides on dissecting and making sure that they get every intricate detail of wrongness or things that are not aware, known to the American people. This administrations are multi-millionaires. Let's take, for example, Rex Tillerson. He is our Secretary of State. Do you know what he did before? Oil, people. This man is worth $240 to $260 million plus dollars. We have Rick Perry, Texas, oil. We have Betsy Votts. We have Ben Carson. Again, these are not broke people looking for the administrations to acquire checks from. These are people who are passionate about taking their knowledge of work ethics, not based on degrees, but based on saying, I have a proven formula of success that I can bring to this administration, Mr. Trump. And Mr. Trump says, I like your proven record of success as an individual and as a business person, and these are the people that are in this administration. My question to you is, what you gonna get out of it, people? Let me look into the chat room. Michael says, Roland Martin Show and Dr. Umar. Ooh, you want me to go there. You want me to go there? Let's go to another one. I'm going to talk about it. I'll talk about it. Modern day slavery. Yes, Granny, honey. Activist Granny. That is what we're living with when they don't even think we are humane. I have posted some videos I will not fully watch because when these cops get that gun or that bayonet, they beat you like a meat they trying to tenderize. And it ain't a pretty sight to watch. It's a hot mess. And we all see the videos, we see the posting, and we see nothing concluded. And they continue to get off. What else do we have? I shared your picture and your video of the homeless in LA. Thank you, Granny. Granny, you are so wonderful. I really appreciate that. I'm looking on Facebook, YouTube right now, people. Let's see, what do we have? Larissa, a Latino-Mexican supremacist movement. You know what? There's a lot of movements going on right now, but I can just tell you, that one I'm not familiar with, so I can't really address that one. I can tell you the illegal immigrants who have now become elected officials from every level, local, state, and federal, have abused our infrastructure. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. And yes, Michael, I will go back and I will address the Dr. Umar Roland Martin, because I watched that show as well. Amen, my sister. Again, someone said, Dave says, always good to hear from someone who actually has done their homework and wants to put America first. I appreciate that. There's a lot of people out there ranting, but they can't give you facts and real numbers, and they say data, but really is it real data? Come on, you're not giving me somewhere to go. And I will always do that. If you watch my Congressional Black Caucus video, it took me time to do that video. And I wanted to do it so that it was very thorough of how I think that the Congressional Black Caucus needs to be dismantled. And the funds need to be directed to the new caucus, a new black coalition, a coalition that is contrived under the Trump administration. This is a new era. This is a Trump era, and the Trump era will be stepping in and intervening because he said during the duration of his campaign that he will be working with the black leaders in the community. But the black leaders in the community really don't lead the community, Mr. Trump. They give the illusion, they wear the hat, they take the credit, they give us nothing. We need you to work with Omarosa and put people like me and others who are out there like Claude Anderson. I have great respect for Dr. Claude Anderson. And there's others I don't want to name, but he's my number one choice for Omarosa to put on her team, because Mr. Anderson understands what is important to have economic growth within the black community first. Jobs need to be provided, and also dealing with infrastructure like the prison system that is set up to be privatized to use us as human flesh to make money off of. And it dismantles the black family so much that when that man is released from prison, he can't go back to his baby's mama. You know why? Because she won't be able to get the check from the federal government to feed her family, because now she has a man living in her house. A man who can't get a job, especially in California. Why? Because the illegal immigrants do not hire American people, especially black American people. Illegal immigrants and immigrants promote themselves in this state. This state is tainted. This state is perverted. This state is corrupted with illegals and their children. They have irresponsibility actions on having children. No one's talking about this. I will. I have 3 sons. I had to work my ass off with their dad. I didn't raise my kids by myself. I wasn't a single mom at that time. I worked my butt off with their dad, and we raised our children, put them in the best schools that we could. We traveled and did everything we could to make sure those kids had a good life and still continue to do well. We encouraged them and we talked to them. They are now their own man and they have their own viewpoints, but they are a great success in their own right to society. Needless to say, I did not look for my children to be fed and bred by the government. These people are subsidized because they don't have 1 or 2 or 3. They have 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. When you see them, they're pregnant and they got about 3 or 4 kids. I'm not being racist. I'm being factual. Who's paying for all these kids? How can a woman stay home and take care of 4 to 5 kids and live in California? The cost of living here is off the chain. When you want a decent place to live in a decent neighborhood, it can run from $2,500 to $5,100 and up per month to live in California. Very expensive to live in California. Now it's at a point where the immigrants have come here. They filtrated their money into this state. They have bought up the commercial real estate, housing real estate of rental properties. Immigrants, legal immigrants, quote unquote. And they have put signs in their lawns in California saying that we are only, not only, but we are petitioning to rent to illegal immigrants and refugees. Where does that put the American person who really is not on any system source of supply? It puts us in the back row. It puts us out of commission. When you go to the store, everyone speaks Spanish. They're in line speaking Spanish. You don't know if they could be jiving around and you just waiting behind them. I was at Kinko's the other day making some copies of some information. The people behind the counter were speaking Spanish. The person in front of me was speaking Spanish. I felt their time was a little too long. So I said, "Excuse me, is there anyone here who speaks English?" The man had to correct his face. He went, I said, "Yes. Do you speak English?" "Yeah, I speak English." "Great. That's the person I'm looking to service me, because see, it seems that you're the interpreter here." I don't let them make me feel like I need to be a second class, third class citizen in the United States that I'm born in. I am a native born Californian, and I expect people to respect who I am and what I'm about. But when you come here and you don't want to assimilate, they don't associate and they don't assimilate, they colonize. In the future, I will be showing you videos of areas where there's nothing in English on the walls. None of the business are in English. The people don't speak English. They walk the streets, they don't speak English. They don't want to become part of the American way. They want to take advantage of the infrastructure of America. They want to benefit from that, and they want to take over our political leadership as they are doing. Because right now, we have illegal immigrants, quote unquote legal immigrants, who have become elected officials for many, many years. Let me look at and just see what you guys are saying in the chat room. Dave says, "I heard that." And James is still out there. Who else is here? Michael was talking about sanctuary city policies are influencing only Mexican communities. No, sanctuary city policies are influencing all communities. I disagree with you on that. In California, you see it because we do not see that many black people. Black people are being priced out, being pushed out. We're down to 6% in California, and what are we nationally? Between 12 and 13%. So you have to look at it that way. If you have properties in California and you're questioning about your property, the safest ones who are in a good position are the ones who made it through Jarvis, Proposition 13, where that tax won't be taxed up. But they're going to raise our taxes because the federal government has stated, as of June 30th, we are one of the 9 recipients. I talked about that in my article on Community Digital News, California Looming. Make sure you go to Community Digital News. I talk about the vendors, and most of all, I talked about the deadline that the Justice Department have given 9 reciprocals. But out of all those people who are in cities and counties, California was the entire state. That's why I consider California to be ground zero. So no, it's not just the Latin communities; it's all community. Unspoken. Shirley, can you speak to the drug cartel funding money through businesses and paying off local politicians? You know, it's interesting because I grew up on 39th in Vermont off of by the Coliseum, and I was over on Slauson, Vermont the other day, and you'd be surprised how, you remember, these people come in with pure cash, and they operate with pure cash. This is what you may not know. These illegal vendors that you see set up, they'll set up like a swap meet of clothes laid out everywhere. Or they're selling their food, or they're selling stuff they digged out of trash cans of major companies that maybe were defects. And then all of a sudden you see it laid out on the street for sale. They're not being regulated in the state because the liberals say they have rights and these are good people. Don't pay any taxes, state, federal, or local. They operate under a pure cash system. Then what they do is they coincide, I believe, with the cartels, with the money transferred through maybe even Walmart or Wired. You know, you can send money on Snapchat now. So cash is very flowing on both ends with this underground money that the federal government is not getting. And the feds, I believe, are conscious of this. If they're not, hopefully someone will share this video, and they will be. They need to investigate all this money that is not going to the sources to where it should be, which is the local, state, and federal taxes. Now, why do we have these taxes, and why do we have this money come to us? We want our streets clean. We want our lights on at night. We want our police and our fire department to be able to get paid. We want the trash to be picked up. But when you have people who don't want to pay any taxes, who do not want to pay any licensing or businesses fees, when people have a business and you sit there and you're selling bread and food out of your store, you have to pay tax fee, you have to pay rent, you have to pay a health department, all these things, ABC licensing for selling liquor, all these things have to be regulated to make sure it's safe and clean and not full of hepatitis A, which is on a rise, which I talk about, of course, where? Community Digital News, California Looming. These are things that are affecting California, and because all these things are not being paid in the correct manner, we are being affected by it, and it's going to come after us because the federal government has been subsidizing heavily in California, and without that subsidization given to these people, that means that those who live here, own properties, or pay any type of contribution to any aspect of operational living will be affected, and they will have to pay, which is us in the long run, not them. Small business loans, grants given to illegal immigrants, and tax refund. This is true. You guys remember that young girl who graduated from high school, who got that scholarship from Harvard or one of those major university, and she bragged about, I'm an illegal immigrant, and I got a scholarship, and I took it away from an American person. That's what she was basically saying. Not only are they taking our scholarships and our jobs away from us, they are also using our infrastructure for their best interests for colonizing. They have signs posted in LA, resist. ICE police out of LA. And they have the audacity, black people, wake up to this one, that when you're out there holding signs, you see me downtown LA, I'm going to post that video up. It is up on People Rising. Make sure you follow my friends People Rising, who are at every city council meeting. Ahim, and thank God for Arthur. Arthur's been a trooper. I encouraged Arthur back 2-3 years ago, and look at Arthur. Arthur's got his own name in the LA Times. Is threatened by Arthur. Look up Arthur. He's out there at those city council meetings. Let me tell you, they are singing, black people, we shall overcome. Have you heard any more BS than that? They're singing we shall overcome as their national anthem. I am tired of people talking about Black Lives Matter when all y'all do is say we pimp off of Black Lives Matter. I don't like Black Lives Matter because Black Lives Matter, it does not matter to people who are using the term Black Lives Matter. Because if you cared, you, under the Obama administration, would have dealt with the 500 black girls who've been missing for a long time. You would have dealt with the mass incarceration of black men. You would have dealt with the abuse and the corruption in Chicago and Detroit, where Syrians have come over and taken homes away from black families in urban communities, and now they act like they're better and they're going to set up businesses because the black people couldn't do it. I am tired of people putting their back on mine to get to the top. You need to take your ass and go back to where you came from. And if you go back, do something in your own town and stop trying to ride on the civil rights of black people. We need to wake up, black people, create legislation, sources, and solutions to help our own people. Amen to that. Jay says, I love you here in Los Angeles. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate that. Joel's out there. He joined in, and I appreciate that. Cindy's out there. Who else is on this side? Unspoken Voice. You know what? I think I love that name because we are a spoken voice that's not really spoken. People know our story. They watch what happens to us, but they don't know what to do. There's certain things that people say which can be annoying. One of them is when people say to me, you know what? Y'all keep killing each other. If you would police your own communities and stop all this killing, you wouldn't have any problems. This is my problem when people say that. I said, it is not my job to go out there in that OK Corral and act like I should be the police. That's why I have my taxes paid. That's why I'm a tax-paid, law-abiding citizen. I believe that the police need to step up their gear. That martial law needs to intervene in California, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta. We need to have law-abiding citizens because we have what? Little children and grown bodies. We have people who are in this country who are not responsible for their actions, who have been able and led to think that they can be juvenile and kill each other. Because I believe deeply that there is something behind that the law, that the legal system, if it's the Justice Department or local police, have allowed these people to kill each other for a reason. Because it's really up to them to say, this is enough. We need to have the infrastructure back in Detroit, where Detroit was a major global manufacturing institute at one time. Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, Texas, Louisiana, in the Midwest, that was booming at one time. But now we have certain areas in urban communities where people can't even go out at night. And in California, MS-13's got knives and machetes. Knives and machetes. You Google that and find out some stories that has been going on. Brother was pulled out of a barbershop in East Oakland. Snap, snap, snap. Cut that brother up. You hear that on the news? Nope. Thank you. Michael says, Shirley, your informational? You know, me and reading words, Jesus help me. Unspoken. Am I aware of LA Sheriff Richard, of a gang specialist, please? Okay. Oh, she's talking about there's a sheriff who's a gang specialist and he has a channel. Look, I like to talk about that LAPD guy that was having sex with the cadets. Let's talk about sex and cadets in LAPD. Let's talk about LAPD who have had guns harvested in their homes of illegal immigrants instead of turning the weapons in. I wonder if ATF Hey, you ATF people. Shout out to my ATF brothers. I got many of them out there. I want to ask you, you need to be looking into LAPD because they ain't turning them weapons in. They put them in their house. And Justice Department, note to self, when you got LAPD guns being caught in one officer, how many others did they not catch? Because if there's one, I think there's a trail of crumbs that you may need to follow on that one. On top of them having sex with the cadets. Come on now. LAPD need to stop hiring so many of these Mexican cops. And they said, we can't get blacks to join. No, because you're too busy beating us like we're a piece of meat to be tenderized, incarcerating us. On top, we only down to 6%. So if we had 6% and everybody in your on your division speaks Spanish, you make a requirement that we speak Spanish. You up there hiring these El Salvadorians and these little bitty Mexican women that ain't nothing but 5'1", 5'2". I stand over, and she's intimidated, and she says, well, if I feel intimidated, I can just shoot you and get off. We got issues with this. This is reality. How long are we going to allow this happen? How long are we going to sit back, watch videos, have proof, have sound, have them. One cop told, I will shoot you if you don't put your hands behind you. Is that the training that we have come to in America? Where a police officer says, if you don't put your hands behind your back, I will shoot you. I will shoot you. As he beat that woman in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, all on the floor. Will he get prosecuted? No, because he felt threatened. Did you see the body size different? But then people say, well, what about that security guard, that little Mexican security guard? And this one guy said on NPR, he had an English accent, we have a problem with homelessness. Yeah, because homelessness and mental facilities are not number one in California. They're not putting money towards that. They're putting money towards fighting and preparing for Trump to cut them off. We ain't got priorities. We got minority issues from liberals who have an agenda to make sure that the people who are law-abiding, paying citizens are second-class citizens. That's why these people attack you. They're mentally broken by a system that is suppressive in California where the cost of living is off the chain. Off the chain. We need mental facilities. We need to help this homeless filth, this health issue that is growing. Hepatitis can be a major issue, and they ain't talking about that. They ain't talking about that. Michael says the police agencies disqualify black people on behalf of credit issues. Well, there you go. Now our credit ain't good enough to be on the force. I'm going to tell you what it is. LAPD, MS-13, cartel, and politicians. That's your issues right there. Now, Google all them and look up them issues and find out if Jeff Sessions and John Holden, what is his name? The new guy, the director of the FBI, who came out and said, my gang is bigger than yours. Hey, I told you this is going to be the OK Corral. Don't get it twisted. It really, really is. Who else is out there in Facebook land? I see my Facebook family watching. I appreciate that, James and Rod. Rod is still with us. I sure appreciate that. And Linda, I know you're out there as well. I just want to say this, and I'm going to give this maybe, we're going to end this in 10 more minutes. If any of you guys have any questions or comments, please write them in the comment section and let me know, what are you thinking about the things that I'm talking about right now? Do you support that? What are the ideas that you want me to talk about? I want to know, what would you like me to talk about when I come on live? Let me show you what I said earlier when I was promoting this show to be live. I told you I had some proof of these local politicians who are Latino who have abused our infrastructure to create their wealth. I'm going to go back in time. I saved this for you. This was a paper. I want you to see this. This came out, when is this article? This came out in September 22, 2010. Let me put that close, if you can see that. See that right there? See that where it says that? And it says, bail leader, he was handcuffed, hauled off and cuffed. You know who that is? That was the city manager. Because the people in the city of Bale, their gas, their electric, and their water was going up, and they were questioning why were their utilities so expensive. Any of y'all remember this story? Let me tell you how deeper it is. Now, I'm going to show you the paper because if I quote all this stuff, you're going to see you ain't got no proof. Now, I want you to look at these incomes. See these people right here? I'm going to read them. These are the people. Do they look black? Do they look Chinese? Any of y'all see that? Do they look white? See any white people? You see the Armenians? Are they Japanese? Are they Filipino? Are they from Thailand? What are they? You tell me what they are. Okay? Let's talk about their salary. I don't know his name. Rizzo. This is the one they hauled off. He had 52 felony counts against him. You know how much he was making? As a manager, former city manager. You know how much that man was making? Let me do like this. I have to go back and forth. This one right here. He was making $3.2 million. $3.2 million in the city. Who makes $3.2 million? Y'all make $3.2 million as a city manager? Let me know. Then this chick right here, she was the former assistant of the city manager, his assistant. She was making $377,500. The next one, the mayor, Oscar Hernandez, him right here, he was making $285,000. Let's go on. Lewis, he was making $145,000. Then we go down to this woman. See her down there? I want you to see that. Y'all think I'm making that? This is LA Times back in September 2010. That's why when you guys wonder how California is going broke, and you hear Jeff Sessions talk about the health care and the $1.3 billion that he found, and Ben Carson, the $5 billion in housing that he found. We got a lot of money in this state, but these people are making a lot of money. Let's go to Teresa. Teresa's making $260,000. That's how much she made. Then we go over to George, city council member. He is making $260,000. City council member making $260,000. Jesus, take the wheel. Let's get a little deeper. George right here. George, former council member. He is making $130,000 a year. I know we're in the wrong business, right? I'm trying to make sure this camera focuses on that so y'all can see these salaries. I'm sure you can look them up online. I'm going to take some pictures and then I'll post them on Facebook so that you can see it closer. And old Victor right here, he was making $190,000 a year. But everybody wasn't too mad at them as much as this brother. This man was coming off at $3.2 million. The city of Bell. Later on, we learned the city of Bell was not the only corrupt city. We have the city of Vern, and of course Huntington Park, and that's where me, Arthur, and a couple of us popped up and said enough is enough. And we started questioning, and then after that, we found out the city of Huntington Park had appointed 2 illegal immigrants to a city position to commune over the community. Can you believe that? So now illegal immigrants who let you know, hey, I'm illegal. What the hell? I'm illegal. I can do the job. I'm a good person. Ain't that kind of like an oxymoron? I'm illegal, but I'm good. Ooh, that's like vinegar and oil. That's like, I don't know. That's like poison and sugar mixed together. I'm illegal, but I'm good. Somebody help me out. What Granny said. Granny, what you say? City manager, keep the books. Oh yeah, they keep the books. They ought to say they cook the books, girl. You said keep. Put the word cook. Put the word cook. Michael said these police agents. Oh, you talking about the police again? What you said? Okay, the city of Bell on their way to bankruptcy. They don't care. What do they care? The city is not going to bankruptcy. The leaders have taken them to bankruptcy, and the people have allowed it. That's your answer. You, as the constituent, have allowed these people like these Maxine Waters and these black people who are in collusion with these illegal immigrants, who work with these Mexican city council people, and they all getting checks because California brings a lot of tax dollars and revenue. LA County is a big check. It's a huge check. The problem is the mismanagement of funds. Now, even when it's in black and white like this, in your face, black and white, what do you care? This story's over with. What's the follow-up story? Has anyone looked it up and found out where these fools are? Because they probably got a new job. They probably got off, served a couple years. But hell, this man walked about with $3.2 million a year. My question is, how many years were they getting paid like this? How many years? Recently, I think the school boards of Los Angeles just gave themselves $120,000, $110,000 raise, something like that. I'm going to look that up and get those correct numbers because I don't like spurting out numbers like that, but I will tell you they gave themselves a raise. That was recently. These people are taking this state to hell in a handbasket. If you don't govern over your local leaders, you will feel the pinch in your budget and you don't know why. You don't know why your gas is high. You don't know why your tax is high. You say, oh, I just got to pay it. And then you can't pay the latter. We cannot allow these local officials to continue on and not be regulated and governed by the people, for the people, in our best interests. What does it say? We the people in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. Justice. Where's justice? And domestic tranquility. We are not focusing on domestic tranquility. We are focusing on the chaos and helping everybody else because they got issues. And we've taken their responsibility on. We should not be doing that. Just like the climate change. I totally support Mr. Trump on that. I totally support that. You know why? Because everyone is not putting their fair share in. We get the short stick in the bunch. Grab some sticks. Pick one. Pick one. Oh, you guys got the short one. That means you pay the most. You're the guys. You're the big guy. Wait a minute. Why do you all get the long stick and then you get to whip around and tell us what to do? And we get the short stick and we got to pay. All bets off. Drop the sticks. You pick it up. You take the responsibility of it. There are those leaders in California saying that we need to take on the challenge of taking that climate change position on. Then people need to take the wheel and be out of office. That is a hot mess. Because it is not our responsibility. If we're going to worry about climate, everyone should put their fair share in it. You guys know when you go to China, they put that face mask on because they don't have air regulation. But yet they want us to pay because they're irresponsible on their infrastructure of development. Come on. There are a lot of issues going on in the world today. My question is, what legislation is being created? What sources and identities do we need to identify that will affect our life? When it comes to California, illegal immigrants is number one. Build that wall, Mr. Trump. Build the wall. Now, let me tell you some sources to go to. Go to One News America. One America News. I always say it backwards. You know what I'm talking about. That OAN, One American News. Go to One American News. They are interviewing people who, listen to me, they are interviewing people who are going to be building that wall. They ain't telling you that on ABC, NBC, or local news here. They're interviewing those people. They also talk about, go on YouTube and they talk about the double standard, how Mexico are fighting against the Haitians who are coming in there and pushing them back, and yet they tell us that they want us to have a free-for-all wall open. That's why Mr. Trump said, oh no, you're going to pay for this wall because you're going to be able to get that pipeline coming from Texas to Mexico. Look that one up. There's a lot going on in the world today, but my question is to you, how will it affect your life? Each state, my state, is illegal immigration. Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, Florida. What are you dealing with? Let me know. Tell me in my feeds. Shirley, what do you feel about this issue? Now, I got 2 minutes left. I'm going to address this lightly regarding Dr. Umar and Roland Martin, and I might do a video. Everyone has done a video on this, and I really like to talk about things that are going to change the black community. Roland Martin has one of the largest known platforms right now that has the voice in the ear of black communities. So TV One has given it to them, given it to him. CNN pulled it away, or MSN, whoever he was with before, when he was commentating. Now he's with the black conscious community. And he continues to have that platform. He gets on there, he points in your face, he tells you, this is my show, you're going to do what I want to do, da, 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 da. So, you got to know, first of all, the nature of the beast that you're getting involved with, who you get in bed with. Dr. Umar came on the show, called himself being a gentleman, dressed professionally, didn't have any of his African garb on. If you notice that, shout out to Dr. Umar for that. Dr. Umar said, no, sir, yes, sir. I didn't like that at all. I'm not going to sir no Roland Martin. Forget that. I call him Roland Martin, what you want. Then he had some panel of so-called conservatives who I don't even see on social media. But hey, again, sometimes them Negroes back east and in Washington don't want to coincide with some of us in the Midwest and West Coast. But I digress. So you had Dr. Umar and Roland Martin. They spent 20 minutes trying to tell us if this man was valid, if this man has credentials, if this man is going to spend this money right for a school that he wants to build. They never talked about how do we put money in the hands of black people. They never talked about how are you making an effect on the black community. What are some of the black issues that we need to determine, Mr. Umar? All he had to do, he was reactive. Let me tell you whose fault that was. Umar, you better learn how to pivot. You deal with Roland Martin, start pivoting your ass. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Let's talk about the 500 black girls missing in this country. Let's talk about mass incarceration. Let's talk about black people on the systematic programs that are in urban communities that are devastating. Let's talk about being pushed out by illegal immigrants and Syrians and Muslim issues. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Congressional Black Caucus that ain't doing nothing for black people, but getting a check from the federal government and not working with Mr. Trump or my friend, my good friend, Omarosa. You guys need to give some respect to Omarosa. She out there trying to talk to you Negroes. I don't know what the hell for, because I done told her, let them go. But she's doing protocol. I give the sister prop for that. I'm going to give every one of you Negroes who say you leaders a shot. So she's even reached out to Honorable Mirza Farrakhan. But when it comes to Dr. Umar and Roland Martin, none of y'all talked about what this your nation, what One News America was supposed to talk about. Not One News America, what TV One says they are about. Black people. Why wasn't you talking about helping black people versus discrediting this man or establishing his credibility? So that's what my whole thing is. Instead of being reactive, be proactive, Dr. Umar. Next time, pivot. Because at the end, you became the real man, and you said, when they said to you, you got 2 minutes, brother, this is your last thing. Well, this is what I want to say. That's what you should have started off. Your end should have been your beginning, but because it was not, you were in Roland's house, and you acted like Roland. When you got a shot, you got one moment of time. You lose yourself. Have an Eminem moment. You lose yourself. Let me tell you, when Alex Jones was on Pierce Morgan's show that he took over from Larry King, trust me, Alex Jones lost himself to the point we were like, Alex has gone crazy. But do you know how many people viewed that show? Do you know how many people woke up and found about Infowar from that show? Millions. Millions. When you have a chance to put your foot on a head of a snake, put your foot down, black man. Put it down. That's my message, Michael. I hope I answered your question. All right, anything else out there? Unspoken says Roland has no interest, but we must not skip over representing parties and roles and policies and laws. Roland has a mission. Roland's mission is Roland. Don't get it twisted. Roland is the one that was in cahoots with Hillary Clinton doing WikiLeaks. Let us not forget that. Him and that other sister out there, Donna Brazil. They're the ones that basically said, Hillary, this is what they need to tell you. This is what the questions they're going to ask. Whose side is he on? He's on Roland is his own team. He's feeling himself. He's drinking his own water like Maxine Waters is. Okay? Michael said you did. Okay. California lawmakers passed a bill for illegal immigrants of $10 million. I talked about that. Girl, have you been following me? Unspoken. Go back and look at some of my previous videos. I was at the city council meeting in Los Angeles when they approved it. If you look up NPR and a couple of the people, I spoke out of it, and I registered my name at the city council meeting against it. So, hey, Urban Game Changers is out there. Where are you people at? Where are you people at? Eric is out there. Faith is out there. Faith Jackson, I love you. James is still out there. Eric Heel, thank you so much. Faith Johnson says, I love you, sister. Keep up the good work. You know what? I can't do this alone, you guys. I'm not a one-man show. And if anything you can do for me, please make a donation and go to Urban Game Changers. Go to urbangamechangers.com, click the donation button, make a donation, make a monthly donation of $5, $10, $100, millions of dollars, whatever you want to do. We also are a 501c, and so you can get a write-off for working with us. We are trying to grow other urban communities. In Baton Rouge, the police are out of control. Louisiana's hurting in so many different ways that we don't hear about in the media. In Detroit, the Syrians have come over there. They disrespect black communities. They're pushed us out. We've pushed us out in so many aspects. Well, I'm about to end my live feed. I did it, you guys. We did it for an hour. We gave it a good shot. I appreciate you guys watching me. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, my live feed. Follow me on ShirleyHusar.com on Facebook. Make sure you go to ShirleyHusar.com if you want to book me for a speaking engagement and join Urban Game Changers, because we are changing urban communities one day at a time. It is important that we're conscious of what we can do. The solutions are within legislation. Legislation is created by the people. The people come together with ideas and ideologies, and we contrive and put them together. After we write and put them together, we need to talk about them. That is where we're at and what we're doing to bring to the table for Urban Game Changers for you. We are working on a legislation to add value, and we're going to ask for you guys to read it, give your input so that we can push it and work with Omarosa. We want Urban Game Changer to be working with Omarosa, and we are. We believe in the Trump agenda, which is jobs, education, high school, high education, and also that we continue to grow an economic base for our people, and all people.